Alright guys, welcome back to EVM Bingo for NaNoRenO 2014, and I'm not even going to lie to you, I'm not looking forward to this in any way, shape, or form at all. This is the Purifier, and I had the bad luck of playing this game first because of some of the screenshots I saw. I decided that it's probably a good idea just to take a look at it and see if it fit my own standards of broadcasting. Now, YouTube's mine, and while it isn't explicit in any way, it's just a... Okay, I'm gonna hold my review until the end. Just know that in the last part, if this requires 2 parts, there will be a rant, and it will be very cathartic for me to do it, so I'm gonna do it. In the meantime, I want to thank everybody for your support. We just finished remodding a lot of stuff on the website, and we still got a lot to do, but NaNoRenO 2014 is now on the front page, and there will be links to all of the videos posting there, and a lot of people have enjoyed it, retweeted it. We got some great comments from Uncle Mugen, who's recuperating from a stroke, so thank you, Uncle, for that. And hopefully, we still got a long way to go. We won't be done until the end of the month, but hopefully by Memorial Day we'll have it all wrapped up. And stuff like this will be buried for good. I will tell you, the author is looking at doing more chapters. This is the only one I'm going to cover. And we'll get to the card like we usually do at the end, but let's go ahead and get started. And the warning there at the beginning was for a good reason. I don't find the art to be all that disturbing or offensive, but at the same time it's ugly as hell, and some people could definitely be distressed looking upon it. So if that's you, you've been warned. And with all that said, let's get this piece of crap over with. Chapter 1, Verse 1. Sin. Demons. What? Technically, this is a woman talking. Exist. But like the void from which they were created, demons have made themselves invisible to the world, and so the humans are unaware of the demonic presence in their midst. Only those with the gift of sight can see them. Okay, remember all of this. This is going to be a lot of stupidity to remember, but try and remember all of it. It'll come in handy for the quiz at the end of this playthrough. Only those able to enter the spirit realm, the astral plane, can destroy them and return them to the nothingness from which they were formed. We are not mere exorcists. We do not cast out demons. We annihilate them. We are purifiers. Now, you can't tell, but it'll be much clearer as the game goes on just how ridiculous this outfit is. And they try and explain it away, but it is strictly for fan service. So the obligatory fan service check mark will be check marked, because honestly, this is ridiculous. What the series with the female demon hybrid Claymore. That had more reasonable female armor than this nonsense. So, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. You see what this game does to me already. Anyway, let's move on. They call me Sister Louise, and I am waiting for a friend. But he is late, always so late. Fortunately, others have arrived to help me pass the time. Creatures of a supernatural bent. Seriously, this is just ugly and stupid and ugly. and the stupid thing is that we're going to get to see other demons later. And they look like stereotypical demons. So this was just the artist like playing around with Blender thinking this was funny. Grotesque caricatures of the human form. Mockeries of the image of God. They have been called sprites and pixies, ogres and trolls, goblins and boogeymen, beguiling the humans with their multitudinous forms. But there is only one true name for them: demons. From the darkness I watched him. The strong aroma of sin draws them here. Oh, my phone is ringing. Excuse me. There's nothing that can distract from the stupidity. Let's continue on. The strong aroma of sin draws them here. Their greed and envy compels them forward. Voracious appetites never satiate their bites to fight, seeking without cessation to fill the hollowness of their souls. But they sense that something is wrong. They are hesitant to approach me. Their apprehensive eyes dart from shadow to shadow, glazed with lust and confusion, unsure of what they are seeing. Though the scent of sin lies thick upon my body, the soul remains pure. This little paradox befuddles them. They do not realize that it is a trap. The strongest pheromone for a demon is a soul drowning in the depths of indulgence and sin. The sickly sweet smell of self-degradation, depravity, and despair is given off by lost souls ripe for the taking. But in this wicked world, the stench of sin is pervasive. To stand out, one needs a powerful dosage to draw them towards you. One must become the object of many impure desires. See, this is where they try and, like I said, explain the ridiculous outfit. But, seriously, look at this thing. How is she even walking? Okay, I'm moving on. One must become the object of many impure desires, a focus upon which hundreds and thousands of humans and demons can attract wanton thoughts. This psychic imprint clings and lingers upon the object like a heady perfume. So I become the honey for the bees. As I approach them, they are aroused from their gluttonous, slothful stupor. The look in their greedy eyes changes. Slivers of pride and wrath streaked with lust and envy. Filthy demons. Their ilk prey upon the weak because they are weak themselves. I slip my pistols out from their holsters. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Really? This. I'm not even 5 solid minutes in and I already want to throw something. Moving forward, I do not have time to waste with your peccadillos. Peccadillos? Whatever. I want the big one skulking in the back. The mammoth beast trumps forward. Its flesh, muscle, and sinew are formed and bound together from the twisted remnants of forsaken human souls. Destroying the beast will release the souls from its possession. I say a quiet prayer for their spirits while the beast seethes with murderous rage. It paces back and forth, frothing at the mouth. And then, with a shrieking roar of tormented souls, it charges at me. Quick. Hold on, we're gonna take a... We're always adjusting the volume here on Beans now. To make sure that I can be heard over the nonsense. Hopefully I can be heard over the nonsense. Anyway, quick burst of holy shells take it down easily. What was that? Oh. And it collapses into a crumbled corpse before me. Normally, this would have made the weaklings scatter, but they do not. They know that more of them are coming. It is 1,000 versus 1. Too bad this is not a fair fight. For them, they are hopelessly outmatched. Yet the peccadillos openly jeer and mock me. It is a sign of the times. The end of days cometh. But I fear not, for I bear the shield of faith and the sword of righteousness. And within my veins flowed the blood of man and angel. I am a purifier. This is like something Rob Liefeld would have wrote. This is the Rob Liefeld of visual novels, chapter 1, verse 2. dämonisch Sprach. I'm pretty sure. My German is rusty, but I'm pretty sure that's what it said. Umlauts, they screw me up. We are the last. We once were the guardians of humanity. We hunted the demons that lurked in the shadows. It was our sworn duty to protect mankind, to fight evil and sin. However, now it is we who must hide in the shadows. We are called fascists, Nazis, religious zealots, fundamentalists, terrorists. Remember all of that because it's about to come into play. Like 2 or 3 minutes from now. And you might get a mini rant at that point, but keep in mind that this is sort of based on our own history. So when they mean Nazis, they mean the literal Nazis. And the literal fascists. And the literal fundamentalists and terrorists. But I digress from my point. I digress from the... You know what I mean. Moving on. We are now the hunted. We are the outcast and the ostracized. The world has changed. They can tolerate evil and sin. They can tolerate adultery, blasphemy, and perversity. They can tolerate the pornographic corruption and enslavement of their own children. And paper over the psychic trauma inflicted with the cybernetic. Okay, there we go. Just sound it out. Cybernetic salves of psychiatry and Prozac. I got so much to say, and I gotta hold it in. And last night, the previous night, I ranted on Twitter for a good minute and a half at least, because I was playing this den, and I made the mistake. Because usually I go into these things blind, but I wanted to get a decent feel of it, like I said, to make sure it wasn't too obscene. We're just beginning to get into the stupidity, but let this sink in. Psychiatry and medicine are evil. They're salves for the healing power of righteousness. They can tolerate all these things. No, not just tolerate. They extol sin as a virtue. I believe this is from Kave Kave Days of the Day, the triptych of Harmonious Bosch. A far better game. We gave that a 10 out of 10. So, excuse me, I just ate breakfast. So if you haven't played Kave Kave Days of the Day yet, this makes much more sense in the context of that game than it is in this one. But that should tell you the effectiveness of the game and the creators. I know what it is just from looking at a corner of the artwork. They are willing to embrace all of the things that wither the soul. But they cannot embrace us. The way you're drawn, lady, I'm sure somebody wants to embrace you. Mankind cannot tolerate us. You're not helping, woman. We were once hailed as saviors, and now you're getting redundant. But now we have become anathema to humanity. The demons have so misled the world that their victory is almost complete. Just 7 of us remain. 13,000 years ago, we survived the Great Purge. Moving on. They were referring to Noah's flood, the flood, and Noah. Moving on. 13,000 years ago, we survived the Great Purge by heeding the warnings of the wise to build arks for the coming flood, a flood that engulfed all of creation. There was no escape from it. Even the stars in the heavens were extinguished by the raging waters. Only the chosen were spared. And when the waters finally receded, we emerged to begin anew. We were the last vestiges of the Nephilim. and now they're stealing from Devil May Cry, the reboot. Excuse me. We were the last vestiges of the Nephilim, 1,000 descendants carrying the blood of fallen angels. And upon that day, we made a covenant upon the summit of Mount Hermon, that we would not transgress against God, nor defile ourselves as did our fathers. And we swore an oath to protect mankind from the unclean spirits that have been let loose upon the earth. But we failed to keep our oath. Like our fathers that fell from heaven, we too were consumed by pride. Demons are but lesser creatures that dwell far beneath the realm of angels. They are so weak that they must ensnare human souls for power. Demons are deserving of nothing but our pity and contempt. Wait. Never mind. The stupidity of this statement expresses itself. I really don't need to deconstruct it. In the old days, we were strong, and they were few. So they scattered into the shadows and into the scorching wilderness. Most of them were slain, leaving only the craftiest and most cunning. We rooted them out, hunting them in places high and low, in terra extremis. Yet somehow they still eluded us. It only took a few survivors to reestablish their numbers. The vicinity of demons was such that they could respawn 1,000 from 10. Every time we thought we had exterminated the last, they would appear again. This is completely ridiculous and out of place. We soon realized that they must be hiding in dark recesses that were yet undiscovered or unknown to us. Get ready for this kick in the teeth. As the humans grew in number, so did the demons. Their ranks multiplied, while ours could only slowly dwindle. To combat the rising tide of evil, His Excellency, Bishop Adamantius, bishops are... okay. Moving forward. Design our holy armor to lure the demons out of the... Yeah, that's what he did it for. He designed this to lure the demons out. Yep, that is the purpose of this outfit. You can keep saying it, but it doesn't make it any less ridiculous. Design our holy armor to lure the demons out of their hiding place, for the allure of sin would be too strong for the gluttonous demons to resist. By making our visible presence barely perceptible to the humans on a psychic level, it would elicit vague pains of sinful feelings that would be affixed upon us. This locus of sin would then draw forth all the demons in the area, seeking a lost soul to possess. Our saintly armor was a tremendous success. Yeah, you wonder why the soldiers in the First Crusade or the Swiss Guard of the Catholic Church don't dress like slutty nuns. Something is missing there. Anyway, it was a tremendous success, and the demons enticed were slaughtered by the legions. However, the vast number that emerged from their places of hiding far exceeded what we had anticipated. Again, we suspected that there remains a secret refuge that had escaped our best efforts to discover it. The mystery was finally solved when one of our clerics, while investigating a necromancer rumored to be able to summon demons from unholy scripture, stumbled upon their true hiding place. As the cleric read aloud the words of summoning, the demons emerged, not from a gate or a portal, but from the text itself. They had been hiding within the words. But not just words and text. They hid in images and idols, were forged into weapons and armor, cast into rings and jewelry, and imbued such items with magical power. The more we searched, the more places we found them. They were sculpted into bowls and pottery. That is cuneiform. The other was ancient Greek, I believe, or Sumerian. This is a different one. This is cuneiform. They're saying cuneiform is demonic. I'm moving on. Carved into wood and clay, woven into fabrics. They were even embedded between the notes of song. The fearful reality dawned upon us. We were completely surrounded by them. In every place and everywhere, there were demons. I gotta push through this because I want to hit it before the 30-minute mark, excuse me, but let's just keep going. I'll get to all this stupidity by the end. Our last scholarly census before this discovery estimated the population of demons on Earth to be 868. Based upon the new facts, our estimate was revised to over 600 million. I don't just say 666 million. Go ahead and be that obvious. And so, we did the only thing that we could do. We burned. Scrolls and parchment were put to the torch. Graven idols were smashed and melted down. Icons and likenesses of all things, living and non-living, were defaced and gouged. Tapestries were rent. Music and songs were silenced. This has particular historical significance, and I know you guys are going to think Nazis, but no. The Hagia Sophia in Turkey was built as a Christian church. When the Ottoman Empire took it over, they completely defaced the church because they worship Allah and there should be no images of Allah. That's why whenever you see Allah or Muhammad in quote-unquote picture form, it's always writing because there should be no images of him. I'm not saying this is any radical Islamic thought. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying this is a tract of ignorance to justify acts like that, book burning, defacement, etc. Now, in the Bible, whenever the Israelites in the Old Testament went into a new place, conquered a new territory, they would take the old graven images and burn them. That wasn't because there were demons in them or anything. It was because God was to be the only God of Israel. And you can read the Bible and see that they didn't always follow that practice. But it's the Ten Commandments. The first of the Ten Commandments, is I am God and there is no other God before me. That is where that comes from. This takes it into everything that doesn't even remotely resemble holiness shall be burned. Everything. I'm going to detail it a little bit more, but again, I'm trying to keep this within 30 minutes. And I hope that example makes sense, but it is it's really attractive idiocy. The Hagia Sophia thing is historical, and it makes a lot more sense in this reference than the Nazis, but honestly, the fact that they even referenced Nazis and fascists, and then said, yeah, we burned anything we could find, books and graven images, tapestries, everything, because, demons is in all of them. It just smacks of ignorance to me. But it was too late. Sorry for that little mini rant. It's going to get much worse before the end, I promise you. Like a plague of locusts, they emerged en masse to wage war against us. But the forms the demons took were no longer the same. They no longer chose to maintain their presence in the material plane as in the past, when legends of wars between gods and monsters, angels and dragons were manifest and manifold. Okay, make them decide. Because now they're saying, okay, all of human history and mythology is correct, but they were all demons. Except for the few group of angels that were fighting the demons. And stupidity. Madness upon stupidity. The demons chose to remain invisible on the astral plane, for human ignorance of their existence was a great asset to them. And thus began an invisible war between Nephilim and demons, fighting for the souls of mankind in the shadows and peripheries of human perception. In the ensuing battle, Almost a third of us fell, but we're being redundant. I couldn't even finish that sentence. I'm sorry, you've heard it before already. We could not eradicate them all, we know. We had no such hope, but we could blunt their threat by culling the strongest among them to dilute their bloodlines. For the source of their power was in blood and human souls. That doesn't even make sense. Through this course of action, we could ensure that each successive generation would be weaker and less potent than its predecessor. Thus the enfeebled demons, though numerous, possess little threat to us again. Only the humans could be harmed by their acts of mischief. Ghosts and gremlins, ghouls and vampires, imps and fairies. All of it's real, apparently. Degenerate creatures hardly worth our attention. Well, thank you so much for saving mankind. When all of the stuff that's actually harmful to mankind, you let roam free. Our heroes, everybody. As time passed, the magical power of these demons withered into nothingness. They grew so weak that even humans lost faith in them and abandoned their notions of the supernatural to embrace a new age of reason and science. Again, we grew too complacent and believed ourselves to be victorious. But the demons made up what they lacked in power with guile. This was their plan all along. The demons realized that it was through science and intellectualism that they could ultimately defeat us. Okay. So another small mini rant. We may go a little bit over 30 minutes, but I'm going to pick it up. The Great Awakening, the Enlightenment Age, that had a bigger positive impact for Christianity than almost anything else the world has ever done. Save possibly. And a lot of people are going to get on me on the comments, but considering the scope and breadth and just the impact from a Christian point of view in its existence, save possibly for the printing of the actual Bible. Like, actually the first time it was written down and printed. No, I can hear the Christian scholars. Shut up. I know what I'm talking about. The Age of Enlightenment had the biggest profound impact on faith. Because up until that point, you believed what you believed and you did what you did because the king said so or the Pope said so. You couldn't read the Bible yourself because it was written in Latin. But the Age of Enlightenment came along and Martin Luther and the Reformers said you should be able to read the Bible in your language. So it's printed in German. Threatened with his life to print in German and French and English in every language, and that's what spread the Bible across the globe. Not being holier than thou in this nonsense. And I'm going to get into this in my rant at the end. I'm pushing it. I really am, because I still got a long way to go before we get to a good stopping point. But it glorifies ignorance. It's almost like you're saying, the more ignorant you are, the more holier you are. And I'm trying to contain it, but I got a lot to say about that. Like a wolf in sheep's clothing, the mass moving on. Like a wolf in sheep's clothing, the mass printing of the Bible would be the path used by demons to turn the tide back against us. Advances in printing expanded the amount of books available to the masses. It sparked great advances in human literacy and knowledge. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? And it also proliferated the places for the demons to hide, breed, and infest to foment chaos. Words have life, a life that demons can possess just like any other living creature. Such demon-possessed words became known as the demonic sprach. The demon speech. The living word of the demons rapidly spread, and I'm not even going back to read all that nonsense. Attempts to regulate printing and the creation of the Index Librorum Prohibitorium were worthless. The demons themselves dwelt within the index and corrupted the very thing meant to halt their speed. That's referring, I believe, to the Inquisition. I'm not gonna make a comment about that right now. The demons reveled and danced to the Diabolus in musica that ensnared the souls of all who heard its dissonant tones. With their numbers rapidly increasing again, we redoubled our efforts to hunt down the strongest among them, burn more books, and so these past 600 years have been one endless succession of battles without pause or rest. Endless killing without time to ponder or rest, hunting demons and killing and more killing. One either became hardened by the war, or was broken. But in the end, our efforts were futile. We never even saw the death blow fast approaching. Yep, the internet! The dawn of the information age and the rise of the web was our demise. The demons that used to scurry in the darkness now bathed themselves in rays of fiber optic light. Through sheer numbers they enveloped and overwhelmed us. We could not kill them fast enough, so they grew stronger, and the world was deluged by the filth of demons that inundated the globe. Infiltrated into every home, during every waking hour, always obsessively at one side, whispering in their ears. A torrent of tainted words, images, and information streaming into their minds. We're going to pick this up because I didn't mean to go this long, but we're going to pick this up from right here. And you may get a little mini rant, but I don't like going over 30 minutes. I push it because most Let's Plays do 15 or 17 minutes. These have been 30, 40 minutes because I didn't want to just have a bunch of Let's Play videos. But we're going to stop right here. We're going to pick it up right back here. But as you can tell, it's only going to get dumber. So, we'll see you next time.